My brothers and my sisters, reformers, pastors, apostles, prophets, evangelists, I need to talk to you for a while. Let me start with the experience I had on SAA, on an SAA flight to Cape Town 8 years ago. I walked into the plane and there were two white women sitting to my right. I was seat 12B. And there was a lady on seat A and seat C. And they were having a very lively conversation, so I just pressed myself between them because my seat said 12B. No sooner had I sat down than the lady to my left said to me, a complete stranger, I bet you're not qualified to sit there. I bet that that's not your seat. I just smiled and looked away. She kept on pressing. She says to me, hey, I bet you that is not your seat. I kept quiet and she said to me, show me your ticket. I said to her, by what authority do you want to see my ticket? The only people in this whole cabin I should show my ticket to are the cabin attendants, not you. She said, no, I have to see your ticket. By what authority? But then I ended the conversation by asking her a question. Tell me, what makes you think I will voluntarily want to sit next to you if it was not my allocated seat? You see, let's go back to 2015 when the Civil Rights Commission started this whole noise about the regulation of the church. They spoke about the commercialization of the gospel, and they started summoning people to come and give an account. And the first thing I said when we did a petition is, they're not authorized to do what they're doing. I said to my fellow preachers, don't cooperate with these people. Any matter of taxation, the authority in South Africa is South African Revenue Services, SARS. I said to different pastors, do not cooperate with these people. These people are operating outside their mandate. The Civil Rights Commission's mandate is to protect, to promote, and to educate on cultural, religious, and linguistic rights. And what they're doing has nothing to do with their job. About that point, we started the movement, let the Constitutional Court decide, and we sent a petition to Parliament, to the Minister then of Cogda, Des, Van Rooyen, and all that. We were saying these people have no right to demand that churches submit their financial statements. They have no authority to do so. People said we're mad. 2 landmark cases proved us right. Mboro told them to go to hell. And up to today, Mboro is still walking the streets. But Chris Oyakilomi from Christ Embassy, they summoned him and refused to go. And he took the matter to High Court and won. Our argument in 2015 is still our argument today. What kind of society shall we live in when anybody can walk up to you and say, show me proof that you're South African, give me your ID, and you are under obligation to do so? What kind of a society is it that anybody can knock on your door and say, if this is truly your house, show me proof of residence? What kind of society is it that anybody sees you working hand in hand with your wife and says, no, this is not your wife, as proof that you are married, show your marriage certificate? What kind of society is it that anybody can step and say, is this your child? Show me the birth certificate. The problem is wisdom. I tell my wife and kids, wisdom and foolishness are as vast as blindness and seeing. There is so much a fool can see. So much. The Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. We live in a society where there are established agencies, and each of them, they have powers and functions. And maybe part of the problem is we don't all come from the same places. But you see, I grew up in South Africa, where any white man who looked like a cop could stop you and ask you for your dompas. As a matter of fact, in 1983, I was arrested for refusing. I said to the sergeant, I've no dump pass, and I had it in my pocket, and I spent the night in prison. Those memories have not, but people have no context of where we have been. Have a lot of bullying tactics, and they don't understand where we've been. When you come to my gate and ask me if this is your house, produce your title deed, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, by what authority are you asking me that? If you stop me by the roadside and say to me, show me your license, the first thing I want to know is, by what authority you see that? The Civil Rights Commission wanted to usher into South Africa a culture of bullying, where we said to them in the past, it is like a policeman asking you for a TV license. It's like a metro cop asking for your passport when you're not even crossing the border. In a normal society, people must have authority to make certain demands on you. And if that authority is not established in your head, you are under no obligation to comply. I could have my ID in my pocket. If my neighbor calls me right now and says to me, are you South African? And I say, as proof, produce your ID. Tell me, by what authority is he asking me that? And by what virtue should I be under obligation to give it? This is wisdom that most foolish people will never understand. We will not be bullied by anybody. We refuse to be bullied by government. We refuse to be bullied by the Civil Rights Commission. We shall not be bullied. There was a senator in the USA a few years, a lot of other televangelists, and he said, no, we want to see your ministry books, bring your financial statements. And they said, by what authority are you asking that? In the USA, is not obligatory for churches to open their books for scrutiny. He ranted and raved and said, you are corrupt and all. They said, whatever you say, it does not bother us. When we are under an obligation and you have no authority to ask for it, then it should not happen. A lot of people never conceive what you say. And a lot of people never understand, because maybe they come from places where constitutional rights don't matter. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they come from places where human rights don't matter. Police cannot stop at your front gate and jump over your fence and start searching your house without the search warrant. Because even though they are law enforcement agencies, they need a court order to do that. We are not going to be bullied by anybody. I want all of you to stay focused. We are running this anti-regulation of religion process. We are no sissies. We shall not be bullied. We don't care about the opinion of people who don't matter. And we don't try to sell ourselves and to appear important to people whose importance in our life is not established. We are not, you see, before you want me to prove how important I am to you, you must have established that you are at least important to me. And if that understanding does not exist, then there's a struggle. Because while it may matter to you that I prove to you that Mercy is my wife, it may not matter to me. It may not be that important. I may not find you worthy. You see, the problem we have is people don't understand that. We must find them worthy to comply with their demands. We have to find themselves worthy. When I look at you and you're not worthy of my compliance and worthy of my submission and worthy of my uprightness, I won't give it to you, because my mind must tell me, how am I under obligation to accede to your demands? I remain resolute. The church will never be regulated in South Africa. We will not give in to people who have no concept of human rights and constitutional rights. Even a thief has rights. We have cases thrown out of court because at a point the cops apprehended the thief. They did not tell the thief you have a right to remain silent. A lot of people who don't come from constitutional democracies don't understand those. A thief, a man with a smoking gun, must be told that he has a right to remain silent. A man caught in the act has a right to remain silent. And I'm saying we have a right to remain silent. We exercise that right with no regard to what the foolish think. I have a right to remain silent. In 2015, the Civil Rights Commission commissioned me, obviously. But the day before the interview, they cancelled. And I had not prepared anything. I was going to rock up into their office. I said to my wife and to Pastor Malati, I'm not going to give them anything. They want to see me. I'm not even going to take my ID there. They have no right to ask any questions they're asking there. When people went to the Civil Rights Commission and they were asking them what qualifications they have, nobody was under obligation to prove that. When people are saying, open your books, financial, they were under no obligation. Any church not registered as a not-for-profit organization, which has not been given an NPO, is under no obligation to give its books to the Social Services Department. Under no obligation at all. Because in South Africa, we have a culture of tourists. There are tourists among us who don't understand their limits. You know, we love them, we embrace them. We have welcomed them, but they're still tourists. And we cannot be coerced and bullied by tourists. Let me close by a quotation from the book of Luke 20. The Pharisees came to Jesus and asked him, by what authority are you doing the things you do? And Jesus asked them, he said to them, I shall explain by what authority. If you tell me by what authority did John the Baptist baptize. And they were in a fix because they knew the people loved John. And if they said by man's authority, the people would have persecuted them. And they said, we won't tell you. And he says, neither will I tell you. Did Jesus not know by what authority he came? He knew. But the Bible says in the book of Proverbs, answer a foolish man against his foolishness. Foolish people don't warrant wisdom. Listen to me, non-entities, people whose substance is not proven to us, don't warrant our affirmation. I don't want to be affirmed by people whose credibility is not even established in my mind. This is Dr. Shimikotu, and I'm coming from Joburg at this stage, and I'll keep engaging you. 17th of August, we are on the road. We are going to Newcastle for the Anti-Regulation of Religion Summit. The 24th of September, 24th, we're going to the Vaal. And we've been talking to some of the reformers. We think it would not be a bad idea to close off this year by another massive meeting in Albertine, Ekurhuleni. Till then, my number is 079-695-8908. Do not be bullied. Do not be a sissy. Do not be intimidated. This is a constitutional democracy. This is a culture of human rights. You don't let a nobody try to assert themselves at your expense. I know who I am. I know what I have. I know where I've been. I don't need to prove it to anybody. May the Lord greatly bless and keep you.